187 at 5810 Murata Avenue. Homicide wants you over there. The coroner thinks the broad was whacked using the army morphine. Don't say anything, Roy. Just get over there.
I don't care. I don't go into letting gangsters off scot-free.
Yeah, I'm thinking of moving up to a 45.
What's with that getup of yours anyway? I should start introducing us as Detective Earl, and this is my science teacher, Mr. Phelps.
Your interest in my appearance is starting to get me worrying.
Like it or not, we're a dysfunctional couple now. People judge me with you on my arm same way they would a fat broad with a 5 o'clock shadow.
I really hope you're joking, Roy.
Так, что по костюму? Сегодня открылась снова.
I say we bust in there and find the goddamn evidence.
I can tell you're lying. Your lips are moving.
Get this morning's edition hot off the press!
The nerve of some people.
You're behind the wheel.
Seem distracted. We recovered the morphine. Some of it might be unaccounted for, so what? That's life. We did our job.
Closing one case opens another.
Do you have any idea what is really going on while we're wasting our time following this stuff?
Are you going to tell me?
The deals being done right now will change the face of L.A. forever, and we're wasting our time on some hump.
Someone's little girl.
Visit the morgue at the end of the month when the John and Jane Does are cremated. Their percentages, the odds for and against lightning striking.
Second floor, apartment 6, in the back.
Thanks. Bukowski, you made homicide.
That I did. Good to see you, Phelps.
You two want a hug? Or can we get on with it?
Relax, Rusty.
26 years old, fashion model. Found in the tub by the cleaning lady, Mrs. Reynoldson. She called it in.
We heard Carruthers thinks...
Carruthers likes to make work for people. Overdose of sleeping pills, falls asleep in the tub, rest in peace, case closed.
Here, here. Mal is 100% that it's murder.
Do you mind if I take a look around?
Sure. Go right ahead. Phelps?
Mal, we've had a look around. Rusty thinks it's a waste of time. What's your theory?
Come on, Mal. Tell us why we were dragged down here.
If the victim was alive when she entered the tub, water would have entered her lungs. The water is violently churned in the windpipe as she drowns. The result is that a lot of foam is generated. This foam is found at the mouth and nostrils in almost all cases of real drowning. Notice anything about our Vic?
May I took a look?
Be my guest. Take a closer look at her head and neck.
Her neck is bruised pretty badly.
Looks like a black sapphire.
Bruising on the forearms, and these look like bite marks.
Very good. The eyes are a classic sign of morphine, and the bruises tell their own story. I think one man held her down, and another held her arm and injected her. They put her in the bath to try to cover it as a drowning.
And spread a trail of barbiturates.
Take a look around outside on your way out and see if you can find the syrettes. It would make my theory.
And morphine would have been very quick, and there wouldn't have been much of a struggle.
Okay, so find two guys who recently bought syrettes and weren't junkies, and you might be onto something.
This is her in this photo? Something else.
Yes. Miss Julie was.
Pretty girl like that? Maybe she was having trouble with her
Коронавирус, блядь.
and down some pills, and then she just drifted off.
I don't know. Julie, she always had so much drive. I'm sorry, I'm not too very clear.
There.
Quality English smoking jacket.
It's okay.
I don't know anyone under 45 who would wear one. Looks like barbiturates.
Экспертизу отдавать надо. Гейша.
Barbiturates. What else is rattling around in this thing? We should speak to her doctor. Prescribing both drugs would make her life a roller coaster.
Понял?
I'm Detective Phelps. I'm here to try and help Julia. Do you mind answering some questions?
Virginia Reynoldson, I'm just so shocked. I feel like there's something I should be doing, someone I should call.
We can make those calls, ma'am. Who needs to be notified?
That's just it. I don't know. Miss Julie doesn't have any family in town. Someone has to set her affairs in order. Mr. Henderson, maybe? Who else is there? I don't know.
If you give the details to the other detectives, ma'am, they can try and get in contact. Was Miss Randall depressed about something? Upset?
No more than normal.
So she wasn't mad at anyone in particular.
No, men were usually besotted with Miss Julia, not the other way around. I don't think Miss Julia was ever in love with anyone.
Did Miss Randall have many friends visit?
I'm not sure. I only come around twice a week.
But you cleaned up after parties.
Yes, I did. Sometimes beforehand. She was always so glamorous. She had the most beautiful clothes and jewelry. She could be hard, Miss Julie.
What was it like working for Miss Randall?
Perfectly fine, officer.
Do you do the housekeeping on a regular basis?
Twice a week since Miss Julie moved here from New York.
I know you're trying to protect Julia, Mrs. Reynoldsson, but it won't help us solve the case. Julia can't be hurt anymore.
Seems irrelevant. I don't think so.
This is all top end of town stuff. Gives us somewhere to look. There's been a modeling assignment. It's a place to start. Beautiful girl. Clothes certainly aren't from the Sears catalog.
She was so beautiful and so young. Can you leave me alone now?
Stefan, Rusty, we'll take a look around outside and then follow up these leads. Can you get some guys to run down the jacket?
You think Carruthers has called it right?
He rarely gets it wrong.
I don't know. I'm with Galloway. I've met enough girls in my time who can't handle their dope. Can you drive to this one?
Fine. Where are we headed? Hear about the woman that stabbed her husband and pushed him out of the car? That's the kind of
Bukowski, Galloway, quite the little reunion in there. Almost brought a tear to my eye.
They're good police.
How would you know? You got promoted so fast you barely had time to learn their names. Let me fill you in. Bukowski's a pushover. Galloway's a drunk.
You could learn a thing or two from both of them.
Please. They couldn't work a vice case if their life depended on it.
I don't see why they'd be any better or worse at it than me.
I noticed you said better. Hubris disguised as humility. Kind of your trademark, don't you think?
Why do you always twist everything? Galloway's got nothing to prove. He's been on homicide for years.
And he's welcome to it. You're a terrier, Phelps, and that's what I need. Not some old bulldog who can't get up a flight of stairs without coughing up his lunch.
Стоунман, 505.
Here, Stoneman, office 505.
5-й этаж. Нам на лифт.
I swear, if we locked up every doctor in this town, Vice would be able to work half days.
Yes, sir, your name?
LAPD. We'd like to see Dr. Stoneman.
Dr. Stoneman is with a patient. Would you like to wait?
No, we wouldn't. Tell him we want to see him now.
There's no need to be rude.
Save it, sister.
Dr. Stoneman, I have some gentlemen from the LAPD here to see you.
Send them in, please. I'll see this patient again after they've left.
Your investigation is much more important.
Dr. Stoneman, we are investigating the death of one of your patients, Julia Randall.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Do you mind if we ask you some questions about Ms. Randall?
Not if it doesn't compromise doctor-patient privilege, Detective.
How well did you know Miss Randall?
Barely at all. She'd only been a patient 6 months or so.
Какой сейчас год в игре?
She was disturbed, though.
Well, not in the conventional sense. She had trouble sleeping.
You wrote Julia Randall a prescription for Benzedrine. How can you account for that?
Miss Randall was in the fashion business. She wanted to control her weight.
Benzedrine is addictive, as I'm sure you know, doctor.
As I warned her, but she was determined. She said she needed it to control her appetite.
Sounds like you knew her pretty well.
I knew the line of work she was involved in.
That'll be all for now, Dr. Stoneman. We'll be in touch.
The old boy's lying.
About what?
I don't know. He looked relieved when you said she was dead. That's a strange reaction to have to the death of a young patient.
You can drive.
Do we know where we're going?
Бывает. Что, блин, пот совсем уже, что ли?
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
Получается, да, у тебя? Придется мне вести.
Have you noticed how croakers only pull out the physician-patient privilege card when they got some to hide?
There are certain things people have a right to keep private.
Until it gets in the way of police work. And it's only private when it suits them. A couple of drinks and every doctor I've met will spill your darkest secrets in a heartbeat.
Well, hello. What can I help you with today?
LAPD, ma'am.
I hope I haven't done anything wrong.
No, ma'am. We're making some inquiries about Julia Randall. Does she work here?
No, I had to let her go. Is she in some sort of trouble?
She was found dead this morning. How long had Julia worked as a model?
Well, she worked in New York before coming here. She was a very beautiful girl.
We need information on anyone she might have been seeing. Maybe someone she met here.
I'm sorry, I don't know of anyone. If she was seeing someone, he must have had money. Julia would never be interested in any man who didn't have real money.
Did she have any close friends here?
Actually, yes. Heather Swanson. Would you like to speak with her?
I'd like that very much. Please don't inform her about Miss Randall's death.
Very well, officer. Heather, these gentlemen are from the LAPD.
I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl. I understand that you worked with Julia Randall, Miss Swanson?
Yes. Julia helped me get my job here. She's not in any kind of trouble, is she?
She's a hellraiser, isn't she? Lives a fast life.
Oh, no. Maybe Mrs. Stanley would call her that, but I wouldn't. She's full of life, a wonderful company.
That's a lovely engagement ring.
Do you like it? Henry gave it to me.
I'm very interested in engagement rings. Do you mind if I take a closer look? That's some pearl, Miss Swanson. Would have cost Henry a fortune. He must really love you. How did you meet Julia?
I was introduced through my fiance, Henry Arnett.
Henry is your beau. Tell us about it.
Yes, he is. Henry has a fashion business. He and Julia have been friends for years.
Are Miss Randall and Mr. Henderson engaged?
Who's he?
Julia was kept by this Henderson character. The apartment, the clothes, the jewelry. Was she a call girl?
How would I know? What evidence is there that says that Julia is a prostitute?
Looks like I made a mistake. Look, lady, you need to give me something. Do you know anybody who would have cause to harm Julia?
No. Really, Mr. Phelps. Julia's my friend. I don't know why anyone would want to hurt her. She's okay, isn't she?
That's all for now, Miss Swanson. Could you ask your fiancé to visit Hollywood Police Station? It would be very helpful to our inquiry.
Now, wait a moment. I don't think I'll pass on that message until you tell me why you're asking all these questions.
Julia Randall was found dead this morning.
What? Oh, no. Oh, I can't believe it. She was so full of life.
Cole Phelps, badge 1247.
How can I help, Detective?
Are there any messages for me?
Yes, Detective. The coroner's been asking to speak to you. I can connect the call if you like.
Please, thank you. Al?
Cole, can you get over here? I just finished the autopsy.
Sure thing, Mal. We'll be right over. You know the way. You can drive.
Where are we going?
Nice move not telling old Sweet Lips in there about her friend taking the big jump till we were half out the door. Very slick.
I figured we'd get more out of her that way.
You're learning, Phelps. We'll make a vice cop out of you.
Ay be.
Here's what I heard. That cop caught the guy that did the Dahlia, but they covered it up.
Cole, Roy,
Some kind of
I have some information for you.
You're the only person enjoying this, Mal. Get on with it.
The bruising confirms 2 sets of hands, so we have 2 killers. Death was caused by heart failure due to an overdose of morphine.
Have you dragged us down here to gloat? We already heard your theory.
We agree that she was murdered.
Yes, of course.
I have something else to show you.
All right, Mal, what gives?
The dead guy's name is Jimmy LeBlanc, career burglar. He came in this morning. Someone stove his head in with a lump of 2x4.
So what? Good riddance.
I found 2 cigarettes in his jacket pocket.
Wow.
Hang on a minute, Roy. We're listening now.
No sign of morphine use and no metabolized morphine in his blood. Scratch marks on his face.
Which could be from getting his head remodeled.
Time of death, Mal.
Maybe an hour or 2 after the Randall girl.
So you're saying Laughing Boy here could be one of our killers? That's a hell of a long shot.
Thanks, Mal. We'll check it out.
I found something else.
Going to church doesn't make you any more Christian.
Sorry, I don't play.
I don't know if it's significant. His wallet was empty. The only other things he was carrying were the harmonica and the morphine.
Да не, выспался, Димасик.
Yeah, he's here. I'll send him over. They have a guy called Henry Arnett in interview 2 for you next door. Let me know how you get on.
Sure, Mal. And thanks for the lead.
Sure, Mel. Thanks for the lead.
Что, сегодня КС идем играть?
You're behind the wheel.
All right, where to?
Я эту миссию доиграю, пацанов поспрашиваем. Или хочешь, сейчас там напиши, кто в сети. Проси, будут они там через полчаса где-то. Примерно.
We're here now.
Блять. А, уже на месте. Тут, блять, больница рядом. Нормально. Игорь, реально, это друг той типухи.
Arnett is in interview too, Phelps. Go help him get whatever it is off his chest.
Oh, sister, I was so tight I couldn't walk.
Вторая, да просто я ебу.
I could get discovered swanning around.
That bum took a swipe at me. I put him down with my sap.
Mr. Arnett, I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl. Thanks for coming in.
Call me Henry. It's the least I could do. Terrible news about Julia.
How well did you know Julia Randall?
Vaguely. I'm in the clothing business, and Julia occasionally modeled for me.
Come clean with us, Arnett. Was Miss Randall your mistress? Is that how she could afford such a lavish lifestyle?
That's a ridiculous allegation. How could you possibly prove that I paid for Julia's things? We were strictly business. Julia and I came from different social backgrounds.
Miss Randall's landlady said she was seeing an older man.
Could have been. I wasn't privy to all the details of Julia's private life.
In the Lord. Do you, Senor? Is the captain in? You can't expect me to turn it blind eye, can you?
Henry, I don't like when people lie to me. She was seeing a man named Henderson. You know who I'm talking about.
Easy on, detective. I may have heard of Henderson, but I don't know his full name. I think he's from New York or someplace back east.
Is this a picture of your car? No entiendo.
I'm here of my own free will, detective. I'm doing my best to be helpful. The last thing I'd want to do is lie.
Ever heard of a Jimmy LeBlanc?
No. Should I have? Is he an entertainer or something?
So So you wouldn't have any reason to believe that LeBlanc would be involved in Julie Randall's murder?
If this guy is a criminal, he might have been involved. But like I said, I've never heard of this LeBlanc character.
Heather told us that you were in fashion.
That's right.
I say we bust in there and find the goddamn evidence. Are there matters without beauty in this city anymore? Well, are there any leads?
Some kind of traveling salesman?
Once I got out of the Corps, I used my...
You were in the Marines?
Sure. I'm proud of it. The Fighting Sixth.
You were in the 6th Marines?
Yes. I was a captain.
Which company?
Various companies. We had a lot of casualties.
Which engagements?
Okinawa. A couple of other places.
That will be all for now, Henry. You've been very helpful.
That son of a bitch was never in the Marines. Why'd you let him off the hook?
Because we're giving him a couple of minutes before we start tailing him. Arnett is an amateur. We need to find out who killed the girl. Can you pass this on to Bukowski? Have him check the place out and go through his records.
Sure, I'll pass it on.
Thanks. Can you also have R&I run the records on a Jimmy LeBlanc and find out who was his last arresting officer? Have them get in touch via KGPL when they have some information.
He's in that car at the lights.
He was squirming like a worm in there. Don't you love it when they pull the war hero excuse? Actually, maybe you don't.
Can you quit driving like a jackass already?
Твою мать, блядь.
I'd have expected a cad like Arnett to be a better liar.
Where are you taking us, Henry?
Never stepped foot in Okinawa.
Needs money and fast. Get in there and find out what he pawned. I'll stick with him, see how he intends to spend the money. Too much slack. Gotta get closer.
Hoof it, Phelps. I'll bring the car around when I'm done here.
What are you doing?
В принципе, дорогу не переходить в таком случае.
He needs money and fast. Get in there and find out what he pawned. I'll stick with him. See how he intends to spend the money. Move in. Can't risk losing the trail.
Hoof it, Phelps. I'll bring the car around when I'm done here.
Бывает.
Too much slack. Gotta get closer.
That's right, Mexico City. One-way ticket, please. Next available seat.
That would be 1 day from now. Is that okay?
It's going to have to be.
LAPD, the man who just came in here, he bought a ticket?
Yes, sir. To Mexico City tomorrow night.
If you hear from him again, don't mention this conversation.
What have you got?
He bought a ticket from Mexico City tomorrow night.
That's good, but this is better.
Oh my God, it's Fabergé.
Should have seen the look on the pawnbroker's face when I told him to hand it over. The guy who owned the joint thought it was worth at least 10 large for a cigarette case. Arnett only got 600 clams.
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
Do we know where we're going?
You can drive.
Where are we going?
А, блядь. Сука, отмена. Позвонить надо.
Message for KGPL.
Putting you through now.
Phelps, 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
Messages, please.
Yes, Detective. Detectives Bukowski and Galloway request you return to the Hollywood station. They have information in the Julia Randall case.
Any luck with the arrest record check on Jimmy LeBlanc?
Yes, Detective. Jimmy LeBlanc's last arresting officer was Patrolman Fred Wallace. He's posted the Hollywood 9th Beat Sunset Boulevard between Gordon and Wilcox.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dimasik, thanks.
That's the cop from the newspaper.
Can you drive to this one?
Димася, ты размялся уже или нет? Моим босс или на ДМе?
To Mexico. Old Henry's looking as guilty as a dog next to a pile of dog shit.
What's his motive?
I can think of a few, but I'd put my money south of the belt. One guy plus two dames always equals problems.
Как вы приехали вообще? Все приехали вообще.
You can drive.
Fine. Where are we headed?
Sir, I need the contraband list. Items stolen over the last year.
Hang on, I'll dig out a copy for you. Here you go.
Thanks.
Is the cigarette case on there?
I was door knocking all morning, but I got a make on the car in the end.
You left at midnight, correct? Yeah, okay. Look. Doing this mean I lose my license? Say not. And now you want me to lie? Even enough, yeah. I know that. I shot the crack. Is that so wrong? That's correct. Where's the phone? You were smoking a cigarette in the other room? That's correct. Did you know, Mr. Rukowski? You see my mother? Can you identify the man in this picture? Is the captain in? I'm talking to you. You can't expect me to turn a blind eye, can you? Does anyone see my pen? No way. Need me to sign some papers or something?
Шикейка, блядь.
It's here. Arnett must be out of his mind trying to move this while under a murder cloud.
Шикейкин портсигары, нахуй.
You know the way. You can drive.
Help me.
Do we know where we're going?
Is he in some kind of trouble?
Well, I don't reckon they hinder your health. I've smoked them all my life.
Come on, let's give him a hand. Right behind you, Wallace. Detective Phelps.
Wallace, go left. I'm going right after this little prick in the alley.
По нему можно стрелять, интересно или нет?
Thanks. Outstanding warrant, armed robbery. Knocked over a drugstore back there, and it looks like he brought his whole posse with him. Bad luck for them.
They're all yours now. We need some information.
Ever heard of a burglar goes by the name of Jimmy LeBlanc?
Sure. We nabbed Jimmy on a burglary beef a couple of years back. They cut through a music shop and into a jewelry store. He got 4 years. I miss his partner, though.
His partner?
Big guy. I had him cornered, and he picked up this huge display case and threw it out a plate glass window. Then he vaulted out of there like something out of Barnum and Bailey.
Got away.
I would have had him, except for LeBlanc yelling, "Run for it, Willie!"
And you think he was an acrobat of some sort?
More like a strongman, a wrestler, or a boxer, that kind of thing.
Thanks. You've been a big help.
You haven't done too badly yourself.
Уилли, Димасик. Вилли
You
Вонка.
drive. I need to go over the case notes.
All right, where to?
The American Century
You're suggesting LeBlanc is still working with Willie?
and reminds you to check with your local.
A strong man held down Randall while someone administered the morphine. Someone with muscle opened up LeBlanc's skull. Could be.
Предполагают, что один убийца Леблана и Рэндаллс.
Nice house.
Nice дом, Димасик, nice house.
LAPD, ma'am. Is Mrs. Eavestrom in?
She is. Would you follow me, sir?
I am Mrs. Eavestrom. How may I help you?
We appear to have recovered some stolen goods that belong to you, ma'am.
Yes, of course. That terrible burglary. Would you like something to drink?
No, thank you, ma'am. We have some questions, if you don't mind.
Why would I mind, young man, if you are returning 43 pieces of my property?
Okay, before we get down to that, I'll have a scotch. Thanks, straight up.
Maria, can you get the detective a drink, please?
Can you describe to us what was stolen?
It would be easier to describe what wasn't stolen, detective. A priceless tiara that has been in the family for 50 years. A Fabergé cigarette case that was worth $25,000.
Что-то, блядь, нить потерял. Это портсигар, конечно, пипец. Не выспался все-таки. Да, выспался. Потому что надо КС играть, Димасик. А ты же хочешь банду собрать. Но... Пиздит. Тиар был украден, вроде как.
Why are you lying about the value of your jewelry, Mrs. Eavestrom?
Who do you think you are? Making heinous accusations in my own home.
А, здесь я не ошибаюсь.
We recovered the cigarette case from a pawnbroker. No one knows the real value of an item better than those guys.
I inflated its value for the insurance claim. There. Are you satisfied? My daughter's boyfriend was quite taken with the case. I think he was even more disappointed than I was when it was stolen.
What can you tell us about the burglary?
A terrible night. At least a year ago. But let's not go into that. Let's talk about what you've recovered.
I get the sense that you're worried about something, Mrs. Eavestrom.
I have already received the insurance claim, Detective. Is there any way we could keep the return of these items discreet?
That's about it for now, Mrs. Eavestrom. The department will get in touch and let you know how you can recover your valuables.
You have only mentioned a few of the items that have been stolen, Detective. What else has been recovered?
You see, Phelps? That's why you get the drinks in early.
Hello, Mother. Hello,
Опа.
detectives. What is going on?
Та самая подруга.
Exactly the same question.
You have met my daughter?
This morning at work. Oh, mother and father divorced. I took my father's name.
The detectives recovered some of the things that were stolen, darling.
Well, what did you find?
A sapphire ring on the corpse of Julia Randall.
What are you talking about?
Your engagement ring, Miss Swanson. Would you be surprised to know that it was part of the proceeds of a burglary?
That's an outrageous allegation.
Yes, it is. I suggest we go straight to Henry Arnett's place and sort this mess out.
Готовься, Димасик, едем радостно.
From Indianapolis. Let's hear a song from the Ink Spots.
А где, блядь, на карте эта квартира? Поехали, родной. Прокатимся с ветерком.
We're missing something here. Arnett is obviously arranging burglaries.
That's my fiance you're making scurrilous accusations about.
And Randall was obviously his partner.
But neither of them are the type to creep apartments.
You're being ridiculous. Both of you. There's a very good explanation for all of this.
What is socking it, sister? You're being played for a patsy and you're not even smart enough to see it.
Голливудленд, Димасик, Голливудленд. Не просто Голливуд, а Голливудленд. Потому что если напишут Голливуд, авторские права, сука, пиздец, блядь. И ты будешь нервничать. Чик.
What the hell?
Ебать. Поворот проехали. Шикарки.
Come on, sister. Let's find out who your fiance really is.
Шикайкин женишок. Тут есть номера квартиры? Как его найти?
Welcome, sir. I'm sorry, are you a resident?
LAPD detectives. We're here to speak to Henry Arnett.
Oh, Mr. Arnett? Apartment 30. You can take the lift.
Thank you.
Что пиздежом попахивает, уже будут съебываться от нас. Я уверен.
Well, isn't this just nice and awkward?
Чик.
Stop! LAPD!
Don't kill him, Cole. This guy's our case.
Go on, put your hands in the air.
Ебать, куда он пропал-то нахуй? Сука, что за прикол нахуй? Найс баги, блядь. Что это, блядь, за хуйня? Это пиздец, блядь. Чик. Нахуй он падает, я понять. Ой, блядь. Вроде не спешишь, блядь, он все равно падает. Просто пиздец, блядь.
Stop! LAPD!
Don't kill him, Cole. This guy's our case.
Go on, put your hands in the air. Give it up, LAPD!
Ебать, найс баги.
Don't make me chase you.
Сука, это пиздец.
Stop or I
I will shoot.
Цирк, ебать.
Looks like he got you good, Phelps.
Yeah, he really packs a wallop. How did I get back here?
Under your own steam, miraculously. You came in through the window, said hello, and then keeled over.
How was Arnett?
He's coming around, too. He's all hopped up. Good time to get some answers.
You missing something, Henry? You told Heather you're honeymooning without her?
О, блядь. Ебать, Мася, радостно нахуй.
Vacheron Constantine. It's an extremely expensive watch, Henry.
A graduation present from my parents.
Фу, блядь.
It would take a smarter man than me to connect that.
Шо это, родной, блядь?
Not sure this means much. This isn't what we're looking for. We know all about the jewelry ring. You and Randall and LeBlanc and Willie doing the legwork.
I'm in the fashion business.
Ой, блядь.
You're lying, Henry.
How can you prove that I'm involved, detective?
Список краденого.
Thought as much. Shouldn't you be calling me an ambulance or something?
Хуйня.
Why did Reed and LeBlanc kill Julia Randall?
I wanted to stop. To get out of that life. I was gonna marry Heather if she'd have me. Julia told the others that they were out. That she was gonna create a new gang.
Мать запутанная хуета, нахуй, это пиздец.
wanted Julia Randall out of your life.
Why would he want that? Julia was our friend.
Julia was his hump, sweetheart. They were the Bonnie and Clyde of society burglars. He met you and realized he didn't have to steal anymore. He could just mooch from you. He needed Julia out of the way.
Julia was insatiable. She didn't care about anyone, not the least me. She was never going to go back to the poverty she came from. I wanted it to stop.
Какая, блядь.
Who is Henderson and what is his involvement?
Tell them what you know, Henry. I'll stand by you if you'll only tell the truth.
There is no Henderson.
Give it up, Arnett. You're facing the gas chamber. Give the judge some reason to commute.
You still don't get it, do you? Julia entrapped everyone. She was so beautiful, so goddamn cold.
Henry Arnett, you are under arrest for burglary and for the murder of Julia Randall.
Henderson is Stoneman, all right? I'm not the guy you want. Go talk to the good doctor.
Oh, we will, knucklehead. Meanwhile, we're fitting you for convict stripes.
Трудно, пиздец.
You're behind the wheel.
Where are we going?
Димасик, КС играем, блядь. Людей собрал уже или нет?
Guess the wedding's off.
Шикайкин там перв.
Cut the guy some slack.
So how does the doctor fit in?
That's what we're about to find out. Maybe we should ask him to give you a quick once-over. That meathead gave you one hell of a pasting.
I've had worse.
You should have seen yourself staggering back in there like a drunken sailor.
Next time you can take the run.
I didn't box in the Marines, though, did I?
Should have never told you that.
Шикайкин, блядь. Таз, пиши ты им. Сука. Ты шкоришь Владика лепше, блядь. Калифорния. Калифорния.
Time for the doctor to give us something to make this all better.
Что он сказал?
Hang on a moment, sister. Tell him it's Henry Arnett. And tell him it's urgent.
I can't do that.
Tell him, or I'll charge you with obstruction of justice.
Doctor, I'm afraid Mr. Arnett is here to see you, and he says it's urgent.
Send him in.
I told you never to come.
Tell us the truth, Doctor.
I'm so glad you came. Prison will be better than insanity, and I'm already half insane with grief. Do you know that I loved her? I ruined my life for her, and yet I still love her.
Will you testify in court that Arnett and Randall did these robberies?
They organized the robberies. Julie would get the names of the guests attending my wife's parties. Didn't matter how much money I showered upon her, it was never enough. never really cared for me.
Doctor, I'm afraid you're under arrest.
The practice. You'll call Dr. Gerard. No. Please don't cry. I want to see no one. Not my wife or my children nor my friends. And I don't want a lawyer. Just lock me up and throw away the key. What have I done?
ГГ. Чик.
Didn't see that coming.
Так он же нацепил на него наушники, лол.
Operator, give me R&I.
Putting you through now.
I need an ambulance and the coroner immediately to the offices of Dr. Harold Stoneman at 1646 Ivor Street, Hollywood.
En route, Detective. You have a message.
Message.
Detective Bukowski says the suspect is named Wilson Willie the Wolf Reed, former wrestler. Last known address is an apartment building at the corner of Hollywood and Vine. Detective Bukowski says to meet them there.
On our way. We have an address for the runner.
Let's try and wrap this up then.
Да иди ты нахуй.
That old boy really fell for that broad.
She was incredibly beautiful.
Would you throw it all away for a woman?
Life has a way of making you pay for your pride.
You're quite the romantic, Phelps. Stick with the percentages. Broken hearts are for chumps.
You're talking from experience.
Какой он радостный, а, лежит, блядь.
Certainly am. Oh, I like women as much as the next guy. As long as they're in their place and doing what they're told.
Не все улики, кстати, нашел, кажется. Шикайки, шикайки. Ла-ла-ла.
He's around here somewhere. A big guy. Neighbors say he always wears basketball shoes and a cream jacket. And get this. The kids around here say he plays the harmonica.
Find a game well and have the commander set up a dragnet. We want the area closed off. We'll take this out of the street.
Шо сказали? Я пропустил, блядь.
A playing wrestler. That's a weird one. Think he knits as well?
Just keep your eyes open and your mouth shut. We don't want him to bolt on us.
Что мы делаем, блядь, вообще? Я понять не могу. Искать Уилли. Ладно. Гармошки радостно хуярит.
Wilson Reed, LAPD, give yourself up.
Чик, тик, тик. Куда он? А, блядь, наверх полез, ёб твою мать. Шик, 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 шик. Па-па-дам. Пшик-шик-пшик-шик.
Hold it. He's got to be around here somewhere. No place to go unless he grew wings. There he is. Waits the son of a bitch.
Ну, похуй вообще, что ли, блядь?
Son of a bitch really picked a spot for it up here, didn't he? Julia Randall's folks are flying in from New York tomorrow to claim the body. I saw her on the slab. So perfect. Looked like she was made of porcelain. She really made an impression on me.
Julia had that impact on a lot of men.
Christ, it's cold. You guys did good work here today.
Хуёво поработали.
Roy, I think you should buy your brother officers a drink.
Do you now? That's very generous of you, Lieutenant.
Вопросы вообще все хуёвые задал. Вообще. Хорошо, блядь. Хорошо. Какой нахуй хорошо, блядь? Димасику стыдно, нахуй. 4 из 16 правильных, блядь. Димаси, заходи в ЦС, наверное. Я тебя тут жду. Ох, наився, пиздец, Димась. Минут 10-15. Окей.
We're being overrun. We have to get off of this hill.
That's one of our 50 cal still firing, Cole. The 22nd are still fighting.
It's over, Cole. Looks like you're one of the lucky ones.
Say goodbye to your friend Hank, Jack.
He was your friend too, Cole. Is this how you're going to leave him? Are you wounded?
Scratch, Kelso.
Well, get up and get out of that fucking hole. Find a stretcher while you're at it so we can get him out of here.
Who's the senior officer here?
I guess that's you, Cole.
You were up here all night?
Yes, sir.
And your command?
Gone, sir.
Sorry to hear that, son. But God damn it, we have beaten these bastards back. It's the beginning of the end, and it was one here. You're a goddamn hero, son. What's your name?
Lieutenant Phelps, sir.
I'm recommending you for the Silver Star and promoting you to First Lieutenant.
Earl Phelps, a shooting at the 111 Club, 6232 Hollywood Boulevard.
Sounds like a homicide beef.
Two of the dead guys caught in the crossfire were carrying Army surplus morphine. Get over there before homicide tramples all over the place.
We already cleared that up.
Judge in Pasadena took the big sleep yesterday. He had a personal stash of 20 cigarettes. Appears we didn't get all of it.